star, the sun, was it the nearest totally 100% natural nuclear fusion reactor, is now no longer visible due to the rotation of the Earth, and of course the sun itself is only 8.5 light minutes from my position here and everybody else's position here on the surface of the Earth. All stars, including our sun, are chemical factories converting hydrogen into helium and other heavy elements through the process of nuclear fusion. Our home star, the sun, is a low-mass star, and it produces with it, energy through the proton-proton cycle of nuclear fusion, as first discovered by Dr. Hans Bethe in the first half of the 20th century. A question that does get asked is was it by people who want to do, was it backyard amateur astronomy? Do you need to buy one of those fancy $1,000? Was it super motorized? Was it hyper precision telescopes? The answer to that darn question is absolutely and utterly no. You don't need a fancy telescope. This telescope here that I'm using, that is just simply a cheap Vivitar that uses a alpha azimuth type of mount, which you just simply rotate around 360 degrees in a circle in this direction, and rotates from 0 degrees to 90 degrees in angle to be able to point this telescope at any place in the night sky. And if you don't have a telescope, a simple thing you can use is simply a pair of binoculars. You can say with this pair of binoculars that I have here is more than 35 years old, and it's a 10 by 50, which is not too bad. And with it, you can see as a small dot, with a little tiny dot next to it, the planet Jupiter, the largest planet in the solar system, and its 4 primary moons of Io, Europa, Ganymede, and Callisto. Of course, it's going to get it's going to get darker. Still not dark enough to do any sky seeing yet, but it's getting there, and the sky conditions tonight, with it no clouds whatsoever, is going to be excellent. our star, the Sun, is a middle-aged, the yellow dwarf, spectral class G, and they just said it's middle-aged, which means it's halfway through its stellar life cycle. With it as postulated by Hertzsprung and Russell back in the 19th century, who developed the Hertzsprung-Russell diagram to classify the different types of stars. And so with the Earth being middle-aged, eventually, another 5 billion years, or less than 5 billion years, maybe another couple billion years, our planet, the Earth, will become uninhabitable as our star ages and becomes hotter, and the habitable zone, the shell around our star, the Sun, moves outward, and we end up with it we will end up with it, our planet will end up becoming more like essentially like the planet Venus in about 2 to 3 billion years' time. Astronomy, of course, is the oldest of mankind's sciences, and the first use of astronomy that the members of mankind used it for was simply to measure the passing of time, to mark out the days, mark out the time what we now call a month, and also to take and mark out the year, which is of course the time that takes our planet to take and make one full revolution around our home star, the Sun. So the best known places stone circle calendars in, of course, England. The most famous one, of course, is the Stonehenge, and out in the American West, and even up into Canada, and even in the Arctic, the archaeologists have found, that stone circles that were used by the native Aboriginal peoples, long before we ever came to the Europeans ever came to the New World, to map out the positions of different celestial objects in the night sky, to serve as a calendar, to know when to plant, to know when to take and for nomadic peoples, to take the Aboriginal Americans take and know when to uproot and move to different pastures, to take and or hunting grounds, to mark out the seasons, and also to take and also was it the Anasazi in the American Southwest, was it aligned there, dwelling places, was it in pueblos, was it pueblos and their sacred structures to align them with the sun, the moon, and the stars, also to use as a calendar to mark out when to plant, when to harvest, and also when to take and perform sacred ceremonies. Of course, the Mayans, the ancient Chinese, the peoples of the original Harappan culture of the Indus River Valley, the Nile Valley, the ancient Egypt, Mesopotamia, that we have a commonality of marking out and observing the motions of the heavens to take and mark out the passage of time, and was it a continuity, going back thousands of years. In the night sky this evening, I myself have been looking up in the southeastern sky, sort of southeast with it, and I've been observing the planet Mars. Now it's at one of its closest approaches to our planet, so it makes it much easier to see, that in the night sky. And of course, up there in this other direction is the planet Jupiter. It's like overhead and slightly to the southwest. Of course, Jupiter is the largest planet in the solar system, and it's an easy object to take and find in the night sky, other than the moon or the planet Mars.